So I've done a DNA test with ancestry.com.au, ancestry.com, to prove my genetic origins and history of who I am and where I come from, my genetic ancestry. So as it says here, I am not mostly white, not even 99 point white, not even 99.9% white. I'm 100% white. Estimate of between three groups, two main groups and one tiny part of another group. An estimated of 53% English, 45% from Ireland and Scotland, and 2% from Norway. So if I look, it'll show the estimate. So it's 53 to 71% English. I'm mostly English. I'm white and I'm mostly English. I'm anywhere between 5% and 45% Irish or Scottish. As I said, I'm English and Irish. So I could even be only a little bit Irish. It says between 5% and 45%. So I've actually said that I think it's about 12.5% or something Irish or something like that. At least 12.5% Irish. And then from Norway, 0 to 7%. So I'm either from trace amounts to 7% Norway. It's estimated 53% English, 45% Irish and Scotland, and 2% Norway. Now you just see I'm 100% white. Let's zoom out in the map here. There's this little area here. This is actually a colony of a white colony to here. So that's not from another race or anything. It's actually part of this. See, it's part of the same group here from northern UK, from Irish and from Scotland. So in the whole world there, this is I'm 100% white. I am as white and Western as it gets. This is you cannot get any whiter than I am, because Eastern Europe over here is like you could say it's impure white. Their gene pool has been corrupted by being in the close proximity to the Middle East and Arabs and shit, and they've been overrun by brown people. So their gene pools are impure. They're the impure whites. The pure whites are the Western whites. Now Spain down here, that's considered impure just as Eastern Europe is, because it's close proximity to North Africa here, 12 kilometers between Spain and Morocco. And this is all these Muslims and shit kept mass migrating over through here into Spain and killing all the Spanish, and that's why the Spanish Inquisition happened, to fight back against these Muslim invaders. So Spain is largely overrun with, not completely, but largely overrun with brown people. And in the north here, wherever Catalan and that is, I think it's somewhere around here, that's the only real last defense of white people in Spain. So you got France and Germany, and the UK are pretty much the Western white people white, and then there's Norway, Sweden, Finland, and that, and Denmark and that, Denmark there. They're the northern whites. So there's the West and Northern, and there are two very closely related pure white groups. Well, not so much anymore, because they're becoming overrun with brown people as well. However, I am of these rarest and the rarest human groups in the world, and the whitest and pure human groups in the world. And it says here I'm 100% white, which is the rarest of all things in the world. And I was born with red hair and green eyes, the rarest of all human traits, and I am pure 100% white. Not 99.9%, but 100%. See, you can see the reach of each different. There we go. See, Ireland and Scotland went to there. We can actually go through their history. So the history of my genetics. So we got overview 1725. So in 1725, hang on, what's going on here? Let's just go here. It's not. No, it's showing an overview of. Not sure which. Yeah, okay, it must be all my mix. So in 1725, this is where my people were. And I think this is only for Ireland and Scotland. It's got okay, so it's got a traveller of my Scottish ancestry. It's not saying the same for England and Norway, I don't think. Yeah, so it's only got one example here of my Scottish ancestors, which is the closest trace to the migrations of my people. So in 1725, this was where my people were, my ancestors were, in the northern UK. 1750, still the same. Scotland's Golden Age. Right, so 1775, they moved a little bit. Some of them were in Ireland. Yeah, slowly. There's some slowly migrations between Scotland and Ireland, and tiny migrations, and then they moved to here, to the Shetland, Lerwick and Scalloway, and these islands up here. In the 1800s, and this is where my relatives moved to America before Australia. My earlier relatives, short time earlier, moved to America, to the eastern coast of the USA. 25 years later was when my ancestors, my slave ancestors, who were enslaved by the British government, they were enslaved and moved through Tasmania, Melbourne, and Sydney. And as you can see, the migrations here of my slave ancestors. And the biggest part here was Sydney, which is there was some Western Australia migrations from East Coast to West Coast later, but I've got relatives from East and West Coast of Australia now, but mostly it's all in the East Coast of Australia, around the Sydney area. And I'm in here between Sydney and Newcastle. But Sydney, my ancestor George Martin built the first church in Sydney with his own hands, all by himself, as a slave. I think it was one of the first things he did when he was freed or something, but so there you have it, the migration. So that shows that my ancestors were slaves who were shipped off to Australia. And a short time earlier, my relatives moved to America. You know, I've always had ties with America, and this shows genetic ties to America. I've been more involved with American politics than Australian politics, except for recently with the One Nation scandal. But as you can see, my people are associated with from the UK and the colonies of Australia and the USA. So 1850. So yeah, okay. So 1850, they moved to. Let me have a look. Yeah, so 1850 they expanded onto New Zealand. A second wave. That after the slaves were moved, some other people migrated from the UK to New Zealand. Let's just zoom out a bit so I can see this. Okay, and 75. Okay, so 1875. There's just the same migration areas, just a little bit different. And then 1900. So 1900 there was very little migrations into Australian New Zealand, and there was another wave who moved into America. So originally from the UK to America and to Australia. As I've said along, this is where my people come from. Yeah, my people have not invaded and migrated into Africa or Asia. I'm 100% white. Not even Eastern Europe and Russia and that. I'm 100% white from the UK, as Western and Northern white as you can get, and of the same genetic line that built America and Australia. You know, America being considered the most successful country in the world and most powerful country in the world because of white people, my ancestors and relatives, my gene pool, and Australia, which is a much smaller population, yet it was historically number one in the world education index and number two in the human development index. So you get an idea of who I am, where I come from, and my pure 100% white genetics.